Welcome, food travelers. I'm Simon.
And I'm Micah. We are back in Las Vegas today, and for this trip, we're headed down to Wicked Spoon for a buffet.
Yep, Las Vegas, one of our favorite places to always come back and visit, and we do come back and visit quite often.
There's so many different restaurants to try. We have to make as many trips as we can right now just to try them all. And here at Wicked Spoon, we came here for lunch. It is a later lunch. As you can see here, there's not that many people in line. It went by pretty quick. After you pay, you go to another line, and we were pretty much set down within like 10 minutes.
It was pretty quick, yeah, Micah. One of the things you want to note is that there's no reservations, so you do have to come in and stand in line, and it's walk-ins only, and they are open just, at least at the time of this recording, just for a short amount of time. It was, I believe, 11 until about 2 or 3.
Yeah, I think it was pretty short. I don't recall the exact time for the hours of operation here, but I just remember there was no dinner option at the time of this recording. And Wicked Spoon is a place that we've been to before in our prior trips. I was kind of excited to try the bone marrow again at this restaurant.
Yeah, that was a dish that we always usually pick up when we're at the Wicked Spoon Buffet. And this time when we came, they did have a different version of it from what we had from the past trips that we've been here. One of the things I was really happy is that they are open, and it's one of those things where everything is just kind of slowly starting to creep back to what hopefully is normal. But in this case, I was happy to see Wicked Spoon back up and operating.
Yeah, I was excited for them to be open again. Since we got set down so early, we did get set down right by a table right by the dessert bar. So after sitting down right by the desserts and walking around, I was contemplating, should I go for dessert first or should I just get the main stuff first? I ended up going for the main stuff first. What were some of the things you wanted to try here besides that bone marrow, Simon?
Other than the bone marrow, I did want to try some of the seafood, the crab. Usually when I come into the buffet, I don't have a strict game plan in terms of what I must try. Usually it's things that kind of stick out, or maybe it's something I've had somewhere else and I want to compare to see how good they are. And in this case, I know we came from Orlando on our past trips and our past episodes, and we did have a lot of seafood, so it was definitely something I wanted to compare.
I agree. I definitely wanted to try more seafood. I was glad this place does have those, I think, snow crab, I believe. And also, I remember there was a Mexican taco station here, and also an egg station as well. I did try that Mexican taco station and got some tacos.
Yeah, I tried a few things, and I actually ended up having a cubed tuna, and it came with a kind of a mandarin orange sauce. Usually I don't get sushi or sashimi related items at the buffet, just not because I don't like it, but I just know that because they're doing it in quantity rather than quality, and there's other restaurants that I enjoy going for sushi. It's just I'll always have the comparison, so I usually don't grab those. But in this case, I actually did try it, and it was pretty decent. I didn't mind it. Not the best, but definitely not the worst. And for a buffet, I do give it a thumbs up.
Yeah, I think for a buffet, my tend to go to list are meats and seafood. They are the higher ticket items at the buffet. I try to get my money's worth for those. I do tend to stay away from carbs and salads in general. I did see the soup, it looked good, but like I said, I stayed away from it this time. I actually went to the Asian section just to see what they had to offer. Since it was lunchtime, I was pretty curious what they had to offer, and I remember trying their the shumai and also the fried rice box with Chinese sausage, but I just remember that that box is so disappointing. There was no flavor in the rice, and there's no Chinese sausage inside. But they did have these shrimp, these Asian shrimp. That one was done really well. It was really crispy on the outside, and there was a lot of flavor to it. I thought that one was a good one to grab if you do go visit Wicked Spoon.
Well, what kind of flavors did the shrimp have? I didn't have any, but I was curious in terms of what flavor profile it had.
I remember it was like the typical Asian flavors you would get. It is kind of like salt and peppery, and I don't remember what else they had, but it was like a glaze that they had on it too.
Would you say it was like a soy sauce type of glaze, or maybe oyster sauce or fish sauce?
I don't remember. I remember it's kind of sweet-ish, but not. I wouldn't say sweet, but I think for Asian food, the sauce are tend to be a little bit more on the sweet side than just the Western style where it's really salty.
Okay. Here you can see the tuna that I had with the mandarin oranges, and it has a nice. The mandarin oranges give it a nice sweet flavor to it. A little bit of that tartness too, so it went well with the tuna itself. So I did enjoy this dish. Um, One of the things that kind of, if you see here, is the bone marrow, and I was pretty disappointed because one of the things that I do remember and I really did enjoy in the past was their roasted bone marrow, and in this version it was very disappointing.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely was disappointed with this bone marrow. It just felt like I was just eating a big piece of fat. Uh, they did incorporate like meat on top, which is new. It's different from before, but I mean, since it's not roasted how they did before, you don't have that char flavor and everything, and it was just like bleh.
Yeah, I agree. It felt like congealed fat with they put these kind of shredded beef or meat on top of it, and so that was different because before it was just um, the uh, the seared um, bone marrow itself, and you would smear it onto either a piece of crostini bread or some kind of cracker. In this case, it was just oh, it wasn't there. It just was disappointing, and it's a shame because Wicked Spoon was one of my favorite places to go eat when we're in Vegas, and hopefully, it's just as they're kind of ramping back up to go to normal operations, maybe they'll start improving again.
Yeah, and you did mention about having that cracker or bread. That was another thing I just remembered. They don't have that this time. They did not have that option.
So after we had our different main foods, we went to, of course, the nice large dessert bar. And as you can see, they have a pretty good sized dessert bar. Probably, I don't know if it's larger than over at Bacchanal, but it's a good size, and you definitely get a good variety of different desserts to try.
Yeah, I agree. I think there is a lot of different desserts to try at this place. I don't think the ice cream option was, or gelato option. I'm not sure which one this one is, but I don't think that one is as great of a variety as some of the other places, as like maybe the Win or something, Simon.
Well, as you can see here, they do offer a large amount. I did have some of the gelato, but nothing that kind of stood out. They were kind of, not they're good, but nothing great. So nothing that kind of, went above and beyond.
I did not have any gelato or ice cream this time. Very surprising, as Simon said when we were eating. He said, "Hey, why aren't you getting any?" I just filled myself up with everything else. One of the big thing I wanted to try here was the powdered donut. That one was surprisingly really good. I think if anything, you're to get a dessert item, I would recommend that powdered donut because it does have that cream in the center, and it was really light and airy as a good donut should be. And for a buffet, hey, that is a great one to have.
And here you can see different desserts, and these are all ones that Micah tried. I didn't try as many as him, as I was a little bit more full, as I focused a lot on the like you said, high ticket items, which were the meats and the seafoods. So I only had a kind of a small space left for desserts.
I believe this one here is the blueberry cobbler. That was nice and warm inside. It was not as great as like the Texas places that make cobbler, but for a buffet, it was still pretty good. I would get it again. As you can see here, they have this cone-shaped dessert. I don't remember what's the feeling, but if you do like ice cream cones and having that chocolate in the center of the cone, I mean that was pretty good. Do you try that, Simon?
No, like I said earlier, I didn't really have that much space left, and so I ended up with mostly just a gelato.
And for these different type of cakes, I don't recall what flavors they were. They all were. There were so many different type of cakes, but I do remember there was a pumpkin flavor. I think there was cheesecake and something else. I pretty much took a bite of every single one. I think I did finish them all. But since I ate so many of them, I can't really recall what flavor stood out and what was really different from them all. I think the best thing here was, and still is, that powdered sugar donut.
As you can see here, I didn't have too much desserts on my plate. I had a carrot cake, kind of your standard fare. Nothing spectacular, but not bad either. I had the gelato, as you can see. That was the Thai tea flavor, and it was good overall. But again, just your standard fare, nothing spectacular, but nothing disappointing. Then I had this kind of a cupcake, and I believe it was a pumpkin cupcake. It was good. It wasn't overly sweet, which is always something I appreciate. But again, nothing that stood out, and just overall, a decent dessert to have. And now for our notables, and as they just started their kind of ramp back up, we couldn't find anything that was really that notable. So unfortunately, there are none for this episode. Hopefully, when we do visit Wicked Spoon again, that they'll have something that we can point out and say, hey, this is something you definitely want to try. We'll see you guys again on the next episode. If you've enjoyed the content you've seen, don't forget to support the channel and hit like and subscribe. And if you want to see additional pictures of food and our travels, go over to our Instagram page and follow us there. And thanks for watching.